Now in this video we're gonna see how I made the stars for my project. This was the very first thing that I did, especially because I know it was gonna be very simple to do, and I'm all for starting with the simplest part of the task. So what I did is that I took a circle after deleting the cube, and then I reduced the faces to 10 so that I would have these little vertices on the edges that I could then grasp to create the points of the stars. And I did scale this circle first so that I would have kind of the size that I wanted for it. And then going into edit mode, I grasped some of the points. One no, one yes. The first time I actually made a mistake and I took all of them together and I was like, oh, why isn't it working? And then I realized actually I haven't grasped them the way I was supposed to. I was supposed to do one and the other one, and I didn't notice until after I tried. So here is when I actually managed to grab the right vertices. So I then scaled it up so that I could have give it body, because I didn't want it to be like 2D. I wanted it to have like body, have grit. And then I tried to screw up the center so that it will also have like a little bit more of a dimension, and it wouldn't be like fully flat. And then I named my objects to star, and I was already quite happy with how it was coming. I did use the Vabble add modifier so that it will round it up a little bit. I knew the subdivision modifier will do so that well, but I wanted the edges to be a little bit more refined to how they would be if I only used the subdivision modifier. So that's why I used the Vabble as well. And I was quite happy actually that the tutorial followed a lot of the things that I thought I could make my star in, and I was like thinking, it was quite reassuring to find a tutorial that was kind of explaining exactly what I have in mind and be like, oh, because it made me feel like I have actually learned, I'm actually taking hold of this new skill that is 3D modeling. Now after the subdivision modifier, I also add the shade smooth just to see how much could I smooth out the shape of my star. Obviously, there were still gonna be a little bit of some ridges, but they weren't that important because I was gonna make this star glow. And since I was gonna make the star glow, they wouldn't be showing because of the texture. Now, I did do what the tutorial did, that is like going into the properties menu and changing the world color into blue. And I did it because I actually did want it to look how it would look against that background color. And I was actually quite excited to think, well, now I can do this starter glows in Blender. It was quite a nice moment for me, and it was quite empowering as well. Now, as you can see, I also learned how to use the other I call them sub menus. I don't know if that's sub work areas. I don't know if that's how they're called, to drag out things like the shader workspace of the texture mapping workspace, so that I don't need to leave my work area, my modeling work area, or like my basic layout. And all I'm doing here with the texture mapping is taking an emission map and selecting a color and selecting the strength in which I want it to glow. Now, one thing that I learned from the video is that you need to actually activate the bloom in the properties menu if you actually want the emission to show in your layout and in your shade viewport. Otherwise, you will keep putting the strength up of the emission and you will see nothing, but that's because your bloom is not on. And that was something very good to learn, because now something that is very important to me, like stars, something that I could create and make shine and have light in Blender.